Hello friends, Zachary Stockill here from retroactivejealousy.com, and in today's video I want to share what I believe is a really important opportunity for any single retroactive jealousy sufferers. If you benefit from this video, if you benefit from my work in general, please take a moment to let me know by clicking the like button below and making sure you are subscribed to my channel. Why do you want a relationship? What do you want in a partner? And more importantly, what do you really, really not want in a potential romantic / intimate partner? To my mind, these are basic bedrock questions that any single person should ask themselves. At least any single person who is thinking about entering the dating market, thinking about downloading Tinder or one of these dating apps, someone who's single, who's thinking seriously about trying to attract and build a long-term relationship with someone new. And it frequently astounds me how rarely it seems like single people really ask themselves these questions. If you talk to a lot of people in relationships about how they got into relationships, the common answer that comes up is, well, it just kind of happened. It kind of sort of happened. We kind of, started spending time together and I thought, well, she'll do or he'll do. We ended up moving in together, we went on a trip, etc., etc. The point is, there wasn't a lot of deliberate actions taken. There wasn't a lot of vetting going on that perhaps should have been going on. And a lot of this stems from the fact that when these people were single, they didn't ask themselves some really hard and important questions about exactly what they want. And I believe this is so important for any single person to really think about. What do I want in a potential partner? Mere attraction probably isn't enough. Even love sometimes is not enough if there isn't some bedrock compatibility to support that love. So really think about this if you're single and maybe you've struggled with retroactive jealousy in the past. Now this is my main point. So if you have struggled with retroactive jealousy in the past, and in that relationship there were some questions around values. In other words, you might have wondered whether or not your partner shared the same values as you. You may have wondered if their past demonstrated a serious moral incompatibility between you and your partner. You may have been grappling with this question of, can I trust them? Are there a bunch of glaring red flags in their past? Etc., etc. And I think if you struggled with retroactive jealousy in the past and now you're single, you actually have a really golden, crucially important opportunity in front of you. And that opportunity involves getting very, very clear about both your boundaries for a potential relationship as well as your values. It's not enough to merely adapt the boundaries and values that perhaps you've seen demonstrated around you. For example, the boundaries and values of your parents' relationship or your friends' relationships or even your society or culture's intimate relationships. Because in life, you own you and you have the responsibility to make your own choices, to make your own assessments about what are your boundaries and what are your values in a relationship. Boundaries like, I'm not going to date someone who does drugs, for example. This is just one example. I've done that in the past, I'm not going to do that now. This is one example out of many. We'll all have slightly different boundaries, obviously, when it comes to relationships. My boundaries are probably not going to be your boundaries and vice versa, but that's okay because we are free to make whatever choices in a relationship we want, and we increase the odds exponentially of ending up with someone who shares our boundaries and values when we take the time when we're single to figure out what those boundaries and values are. I've done this several times in my dating life when I've really sat down and thought hard about the kind of woman that I want to bring into my life and frankly the kind of woman I want to keep out of my life. And if you have a history of retroactive jealousy, for example, as many or most of you probably know, I struggled with retroactive jealousy years and years ago, my first serious relationship. If this is in your history and you've had some questions around what are my values, what are my morals, etc., etc., once you work this out in a real sense, once you really get clear on what is acceptable and not, what is merely my insecurity talking, and what is a serious moral incompatibility / red flag that I should be taking note of, once you work out the difference, the odds of you struggling with retroactive jealousy in the future go down substantially because all of a sudden the values question is sorted. If you have a certain response to something that your partner says or something they did, or you hear something about their past that is somewhat unsettling, at least initially, immediately you realize whether it's the insecurity or whether it's a serious conflict in values / moral incompatibility. And this is so helpful if you have any kind of a history of jealousy, retroactive jealousy, anything like that. So if you are single and watching this video, or frankly, if you're in a relationship but you're having serious questions about whether or not this is the right relationship, this is a very worthwhile exercise. Take some time. You can journal, you can meditate, you can go on a weekend retreat, do whatever you need to do, and really think hard. What kind of relationship do I want? What kind of partner do I want? Equally important, what do I want to keep away? What do I want to keep out of my life? What are the kind of characteristics, personal history, pitfalls, character faults that I really want to keep at bay? To give you another one of my examples, I couldn't date someone seriously who is terrible at managing money. I've really made an effort in recent years to improve my financial literacy. I still have a lot to learn, but in general, I really, debt freaks me out, and people who have compulsive spending habits, that really kind of freaks me out. And I just know that if I met someone and they were absolutely incredible in every other way, but they were a compulsive spender, but they had mountains and mountains of debt, it's probably not going to work out, at least not long term. And I wouldn't have had that clarity if I didn't spend time thinking about these things when I was single. So really spend some time thinking about this. I think you'll find it helpful. And if you've ever struggled with retroactive jealousy, I think this is absolutely crucial to consider if you're single and thinking about entering a new relationship. Thanks for watching this video. If you benefited from this, please take a moment to let me know by clicking the like button below and making sure you are subscribed to my YouTube channel. And I'll talk to you again very soon.